Have you ever had insecurities creep in just about when you're ready to take action? Suddenly you heard that long lost voice of the past that you stuffed away, hoping that it would never hear that voice again. Hi, I'm Debra Kasowski, three-time best-selling author, speaker, executive coach, and the host of the Millionaire Woman Show. Today, I want to talk to you about overcoming insecurity. Now, let's face it, we're all insecure at one time or another. But the reasons why these insecurities come up really will depend on each individual and different parts of their journey. So when we think about insecurity, often it can be coming from rejection or failure. It could be loss of a loved one. It could be bankruptcy, divorce, a tragic event, a crisis of some kind. Or it could be something that just feels like someone lifted the table and flipped it over your daily life. So there's many different situations that can cause somebody to feel insecure. And that insecurity equals to not feeling enough. And sadly, all of us are enough. Yet we have that voice, I'm not enough this, I'm not smart enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not this, or I'm not that. And those insecurities come in a wide range of things. One is a physical insecurity. Might be that I'm too small, too big, too short, too fat, too skinny. My legs are too long. My torso's too short. My nose is too big. My nose is too small. My ears stick out. Like all these physical insecurities, when you say them out loud, they seem quite absurd. Then we have people who have the emotional insecurities of not being enough and, really thinking, well, I'm single and they're married. I need to be this or I need to be that. Or just looking at lenses from past experiences and being overly critical of whatever situation. Other one insecurities is the capability that you feel that you don't have enough knowledge or you don't have the credential, you don't have this or you don't have that. So there's a lot of scarcity involved in insecurity. It's a very critical place to be. And it's not one that serves you or brings value to the world. So I want to talk to you about how it often shows up of what are some signs of insecurity. Now, the number one sign of someone being insecure is that lack of trust. They do not trust easily, and they don't trust themselves more than anything versus trusting other people. They struggle with being vulnerable, being able to share their thoughts and feelings with the fear of being judged. They panic easily when they don't hear from someone, and all of a sudden they start telling themselves stories about why they must have done something that all of a sudden they don't hear from this person. They're easily attacked and often get defensive, that they don't want anybody to say that anything's wrong with them, so they defend their position at every cost. And they're unwilling to accept themselves for who they are. And they are often those people who create a mountain out of a molehill. So really thinking about what are some of those signs that you see in the people around you, in yourself, if you see them coming up, and how did they get there? And how does it show up? So often, it's easier for us to see it in other people than ourselves, but it shows up in the form of jealousy. And, some people say, well, if a spouse or a partner is jealous, does that mean that they love me? Absolutely not. Jealousy is a very damaging emotion, and where someone feels threatened that they're not enough. And, that insecurity can lead to different behaviors. I've seen people, scroll through, social media and get very insecure about other people, and they're very jealous. Look at what they got, and critical, and also in other forms. So think about jealousy, self-doubt, where they're not willing to move forward in taking actions because they doubt their capabilities. Procrastination, holding off to the last minute, waiting for every detail to be perfect, not thinking that actually if I make some progress, that's better than perfection. And then worrying about things that often never happen. And they let their imagination run wild and get into a very panicked and anxious type of mindset. So really thinking about how it shows up. Individuals who are insecure tend to be people who are very critical of others. And they often make themselves, puffed in the chest, and, they can criticize other people, or they'll gossip. Um, and often, putting people down to make themselves feel better. They can also show up as being overly confident, and that covers up some of that insecurity, but they end up wanting to control situations and control others because of their own insecurities and fears that there's going to be a loss of some kind, or, someone's going to choose someone over them. And also they have a hard time admitting if they make mistakes or do any wrong, because again, they're going to be judged, feel less than. So you can hear the language that comes up with insecurity, right? It's not enough, less than, not good enough, not smart enough. You will hear the language. And they're also attention seeking because they want people to see how great they are so that they will be noticed. They will be acknowledged for, being so great, when inside they cannot accept themselves for who they are. So I want to give you some strategies for you to feel more secure in yourself, especially when those insecurities creep up. Now, again, I want to normalize this, that everyone is insecure at some point. At a new job that they're thinking of applying for, asking the girl on the date, or the guy wanting to ask the girl to dance. There's so many different scenarios that we could come up with. It could be doing a presentation in front of people. It could be doing a Facebook Live as your first, tackle at social media. And for some people, it terrifies them to be on camera. So I really want to help build that security, build that confidence, so that you can rise above some of the challenges that you might face when you are stepping into your potential. So that greatness exists inside of you. We want you to be able to move forward. We want you to be able to grow and step into who you're meant to be. So in order to become more secure in who you are, the first thing you need to do is, no matter what someone told you in the past, no matter what feedback or criticisms you've received, the number one thing I want to tell you is you do not need to internalize every form of feedback you receive. Okay? Just take a deep breath. You are you, and you're packaged specifically with special gifts and talents that this world needs. And I need you to fully step into those talents and those skills that you bring, because they are uniquely packaged. There's no one else in the world who has the experiences, the education, the interactions that you have had that have brought you to this moment. So celebrate those. What someone else says to you does not define who you are as a person. So I really want you to think about that. And stop comparing yourself to other people. What happens is when people are in a comparison, they're often comparing to one moment of time, one picture on Instagram or Facebook, and they're not seeing the whole journey of what is behind the story. So, would you trade everything that you've ever done, the people you've met or interacted, for that one moment of time? I bet anything right now that you would say, you know what, I've had an incredible life. I've had incredible experiences, and I would not trade it for that one moment of time. The other thing you want to do is make sure your tribe, the people you hang out with, the community you surround yourself with, are people who are uplifting, they empower you. They also challenge you to be a better version of yourself. They challenge you in the fact that they'll call you out when they know that you're slipping away from who you know yourself to be. That if you're procrastinating, they might call you out. If you're comparing, they might call you out. These are the people who are not afraid to tell you like it is in a kind and compassionate way. But they're also going to call you out because they know what's important to you. This is the type of community that you want around you, ones that empower you, ones that see you for who you are and don't want you to slip into getting caught in a negative thought pattern of comparing yourself to other people when you bring so much value to them as well in their lives. And here's the other thing. We want to be confident even when we make a mistake. We don't need to get defensive defending when mistakes happen because we all make mistakes. Life is truly about learning. Life is about, if there is a mistake, that we find what we can do differently the next time we move forward. We need to be very secure in what we're able to do versus dropping into, oh, well, I wasn't able to do this, so we might as well not try again. We might as well, give it up. That's coming from a very fixed mindset. And a fixed mindset says, this is the way it is. I'm not going to challenge anything because if I look bad, it's not going to reflect well on me. So I'm not even going to put in the effort. That's a fixed mindset. Now, a growth mindset is one that says, okay, what can I learn from this? Bring on the challenge. How can I get better? How am I going to show up fully to really embrace what I'm capable of, who I have yet to become? Because if you tap into it at each level you get to, you know that there's more you're capable of accomplishing, more you're able to give to other people as well. So we want to be confident even when we feel off track. The other one is, I want you to talk back to your inner critic, that negative voice, that's chirping in your ear, that's saying, you know what, you can't do this. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, I am. Now stop it. Some people call it a name and address it as so. They'll say, Stacy, stop it. Karen, stop it. Whatever that voice is that comes up for you, that is wanting to derail you off the path. That's the one you want to tame. You want to tame the gremlin that is saying, no, you can't, when you know you can and you will. So talk back to it. Tell it that you're not listening. You're going after, you're focusing on your path. You want to speak positively yourself. There's no room for that negativity. And when you get caught up in that self-doubt and start getting in your own way, one of the best things to do is put some deliberate focus on others and what you can do to help other people instead of falling into a self-shaming and, really putting yourself down. So when we can put that focus on other people and building and empowering other people, this is where we can continually learn and grow. So we want to have you move into a more secure space in being able, firstly, to accept yourself for who you are with all the imperfections, being perfectly imperfect. And that vulnerability of being able to express yourself emotionally, say what's on your mind, and really come from that place. And, that vulnerability makes you relatable. It makes you relevant. People don't want perfection. They want to know that someone's like them. They want to feel that sense of belonging. But here's the thing that I also know. We're not going to settle for mediocrity. We're going to keep those standards for ourselves. We're going to continue to push ourselves to be a better version of ourselves. But in order to do so, it starts with acceptance of who you are right where you are right now. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's not okay to be dissatisfied. Not at all. Because dissatisfaction with some of those insecurities can lead to motivation for change. So one of the things I'd like you to do is write down your insecurities. What have people told you? What are you even telling yourself? What is that gremlin that you're needing to tame telling you about yourself to make you choose insecurity versus security? What is that phrase, that statement, that word that derails you whenever it comes up? Then what I want you to do is really look at that list and consider the source it comes from. Who made them an authority? First off, you did. You allowed what they said to be internalized into a belief that you now hold. But in order to move forward, you have to remember thoughts are thoughts and they can be changed. So what I want you to do is when you look at one of those thoughts, just look at one of the ones on your list, ask yourself, and this is, if you're very familiar with the work of Byron Katie and the work, there's 4 questions. Is this true? Is it 100% true? How do I know this to be true? And who would I be without this thought? Are you hanging on to something that is taking away your energy, taking away your focus, taking away your feeling of directness? I need you to challenge it, reframe it, or drop the thought altogether once you believe you're hanging on to false beliefs that lead you to feeling insecure. Also, when you think of those people who've made those comments, because I know I have a handful of them who've made comments, and, we were all at different stages of development, all on different parts of our journey, made comments that probably for majority of the time, I would think that people didn't even realize that they said it 10, 15 years down the road. But they don't know the damage that was caused, kind of like that bull in a china shop rushing in and all the china breaks and not knowing that it was very tender and raw and hurt you. So one of the phrases that I like to use, and from biblical, is forgive them for what they do not know. And to be able to not only forgive them, but forgive yourself for hanging on to a belief that didn't serve you, to hanging on to not being able to trust yourself, to know what's best for you. So when you can be able to forgive yourself, forgive other people, you're going to be able to refocus that energy, focus, have a very clear thinking of your path and what you want to do. Now, if you look at the insecurity and you say, you know what, I feel that this insecurity has truth to it. This is where, if there's insecurities that, and you got to look at them saying, is there something I can do about this? So if there's things that you can do, like, maybe you want to go to the gym to lose weight or become physically fit or reach a goal, and you're dissatisfied with something about yourself that you can improve, then use that to motivate you to move forward. Now, if you have, skin condition or other things, that something you can still do to get the help from the people who can help you. I have friends, even myself, I used to tell myself that I, style wise, and then I started looking on Pinterest and getting ideas and all of these different things, taking courses to become more competent, be able to practice on video and do all these different things. And I had to train myself not to compare myself to other people. And those are just some of the things that I have done. But I bet you if you started having a conversation with others, you would learn some of their vulnerabilities, some of the things that they've had to overcome. And we've all had to overcome an insecurity of some kind. This is where growth occurred. This is where learning occurred. And this is why it's actually a beautiful thing. To empower you, to take you to the next level, greatness comes from really being in the moment, being able to reflect on those experiences, to find the value and think about how can I increase value in myself, not only externally, but internally, of what I can give to the world. And when I learn more and become more competent and more confident, I can deliver more, right? So these are the things that I want you to think about. You're not a stagnant person. Life is about evolving. Life is about growth. It's about learning, being able to realize that mistakes and failures and wrongdoings, those things happen, part of the process. And what you're going to do is continually evolve into the person you are meant to be. And at each level you reach, there's going to be new challenges for you to step it up and step into the game and really lean in to what you have. You know, if you really step back and think about the world and think about how cool the uniqueness of each individual is and how we need each other to be interconnected, and the connections and the conversations and the collaboration and the creation, all of these things come together because at some point we've pushed through any of those insecurities. We've trusted ourselves and we've been able to say, you know what? I am enough. And there is abundance for everyone. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it helps you to move forward being more secure in who you are, more confident in what you're planning to deliver to the world in great value, and also to serve others. I'd love for you to go over to my website at www.debrakasowski.com, where you can learn more about coaching, leadership, training, business, and leading a life that you feel rich from the inside out. Thank you again for joining me. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and rate and review. Put a comment below. Have a great day.